This is a SandyBoy Productions podcast.
Welcome to the Urban Pharmacy Podcast, where we help women remove the overwhelm of living their most holistic life. This is the place to find evidence-based nutrition tactics, healthy lifestyle and wellness tips, abundance mindset, and easily implementable low-tox living strategies so you can rise up to your full potential and protect your family's health. I'm your host, Stacey, certified holistic nutritionist and better living advocate. Now, let's get empowered with some simple swaps that make a big impact for optimal wellness.
Happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a good day. It is Holistic Hack Tuesday, and I want to chat with you about what happens to your body when you go plant-based. For those of you who don't know me, I am Stacey. I am a holistic nutritionist and lifestyle wellness mentor, here to help serve you and help you to rise up into your ultimate vision and increase your health and your wealth and master your mindset. So today we're talking plant-based because if you don't know yet, I am a holistic nutritionist and I help women transition to a whole food plant-based lifestyle and reduce processed foods and reduce foods that we know are not linked to longevity and really just get in on eating in a more healthful way. And I want to talk to you today about plant-based because I have been fully plant-based for over a decade, which means that I do not include in my diet anything from animals such as dairy, eggs, fish, meat, chickens, lambs, like none of that stuff. And that is just the way that I live my lifestyle because it is not only better for, of course, the animals, the environment by far, but also our health. It can actually help us live a lot longer. So I like to eat all the plants on a daily basis. And I want to share with you what happens to you and what happens to the human body when we go ahead and eat more plants. So again, I eat plants. I eat a whole food plant-based, and I really like to eat whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, and veggies mostly. Did I say whole grains already? Legumes, which is also in the beans, legumes, they can be kind of interchanged. And that is it. So we've got 5 different sections of foods to eat from, and there's hundreds of each variety, which is amazing, even thousands of each variety. So the varieties are never ending, and you can get a lot of different fun things to eat. So yeah, you guys, okay. As this group of women, a lot of us are high achievers. A lot of us are ambitious women going after our goals, wanting to up level again our health, our wealth, our mindset, our existence. And when we fuel our body in the proper way, and when we give ourselves as many micronutrients, macronutrients that we can, that are packaged with nutrients that we need, a lot of the nutrients that we're actually really deficient in, such as fiber and minerals that we don't get, plants really are a great answer to that. So I want to just give you a quick list today of what can happen to you if you start eating more plants. Okay, you guys, so first off, let's talk about diabetes. I don't know if any of us here have any pre-symptoms for diabetes, or maybe some of us are insulin dependent. Maybe we have type 1 diabetes. That is an autoimmune issue. Maybe we have type 2 diabetes, or we're pre-diabetic in type 2, meaning that our body has too much saturated fat in the cells. It's called intramyocellular lipid, and this can interfere with the way that we feel. Maybe you haven't gotten your blood sugar tested, but maybe you're just very testy. Maybe you're very moody. Maybe your energy crashes in the day, in the afternoon, and maybe you just have no idea how in the world to overcome this. And it could have to do with your insulin and your blood sugars. Okay, so symptoms of diabetes within 1 hour of eating more plants versus eating an animal-based product that has saturated fat in it, it can help your blood sugar tremendously. The reason why is because these foods are bound to fiber, and we have whole plant foods going into our body, which we need to have optimal everything, optimal systems happening, optimal hormone regulation, optimal blood sugar regulation, optimal mood regulation, optimal gut regulation. Okay, so diabetes can be easier to manage. These vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains help our body burn fuel steadily rather than causing a big insulin spike, which leads to storing calories as fat in our body. So people with diabetes, when they switch to plant-based, it can help their body make healthy amounts of insulin, which is the hormone that pulls the sugar out of the cell and out of our body to keep us from being too high in sugar. And this is something that our body might not be able to do otherwise if we are diabetic or have prediabetes. You may have heard of gestational diabetes with moms as well. It's just poor blood sugar regulation. And when we start a whole food plant-based diet, we can significantly reduce our insulin dose or dependence, okay? So after we switch to the whole food plant-based way of eating, also in 3 to 4 days, we can start heading to the bathroom more regularly. I've heard from many doctors that I have interviewed for my podcast or, just chatted with, like health professionals, if they hold like retreats or maybe week-long events, it's something that's kind of a joke among like the host facility, because they tend to have to get more toilet paper into the facility because these people who have been eating high saturated fat, lots of animal products, lots of processed foods, they're not going to the bathroom as regularly as somebody who might be eating whole food plant-based on a daily basis. So you may look at this as a bad thing, but truly our body is made to eliminate what we don't need on a regular basis. And I'm not here to say that you have to that you have to poop every single day. However, that is totally normal. And even up to 3 times per day is absolutely normal. What's not normal is maybe once or twice per week. And the average American is not getting 97% of the fiber that they need. So I highly suggest that we turn to plants, because plants are the only source of fiber in the diet that we eat. Okay. So here's another change that can happen. Within 1 week, our cholesterol can be lower. And if you've seen the documentary called Game Changers, you know that just after 1 week of eating plants only, that the firefighters who were eating that way celebrated a drop in their cholesterol. And the reason why is because plant foods have 0 cholesterol and generally have much lower saturated fat, except for palm and coconut oils, which we should be avoiding anyway because they disrupt our gut and they are full of saturated fat, like I said. And that's really not optimal to be eating on a normal basis for our cardiovascular system anyways. So if we immerse ourselves in a whole food plant-based diet, it can result in a rapid drop in our total cholesterol, which it just adds years to our lives. Guys, we want to be cognizant, even if we're young and we're not, seeing issues yet. These diseases, these high cholesterol diseases, these blood sugar issues, heart disease, which is our number 1 killer, which is like a culmination of so many different issues, being overweight, obese. These take decades to typically manifest and show and rear their ugly head. So if we take the preventative measures and start eating plants now, we're off to a better start in our life. Okay, and then another thing that can happen within just 1 week of eating whole food plant-based versus the standard American diet, our blood pressure may come back to normal. So I know so many of you and so many of us in general that have anxiety, that are suffering from stress, that are just not able to manage a day-to-day basis our feelings. And, our mental state is not good right now. And that affects our gut, and that affects our entire body as a whole, and can lead to extra inflammation. So just after 1 week, our blood pressure, blood pressure, we don't want it to be high, because when it's high, it's adding stress to our cardiovascular system, which is all of the nerves and all of the blood vessels in our body. If we have high blood pressure, that means that there was a lot of pressure inside of all of these vessels, and all of these vessels are going to every single inch of our body. And if they're always put under pressure, that can stretch them, that can add stress, that could lead to a less resilient blood vessel, which can eventually lead to heart disease, which is why blood pressure is not optimal. Okay. So if you feel stressed and anxious, it could be because you're eating a lot of processed foods. The more salt that you're eating, the higher your blood pressure is likely to be, because salt pulls out all of the fluid from your body and pulls it into your blood vessels to try to counteract all of the salt. Because as we know, maybe an area of high concentration goes to an area of low concentration moves to an area of high concentration within the body. So if we have a high concentration of sodium, we need the water to counteract it. So it's going to pull the fluid, make you feel probably dehydrated and also on edge. So we want to decrease our blood pressure as much as possible. Another thing that's going to happen to you after you switch to whole food plant-based is within 1 to 2 weeks, you'll probably get a little bit slimmer, especially if you're avoiding processed sugar, which the women in my society are actually going through a challenge of right now. This entire month, I have them going through a sugar challenge. And the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which is who I'm licensed through as a Food for Life instructor, says that the average weight loss after transitioning to a whole food plant-based diet is about a pound a week. And that is just a really steady, weight loss plan. So if you're somebody that's really on a journey of losing weight and you want to lose maybe 50 pounds, you could expect to do that if you switch to a whole food plant-based diet in the right way, without pounding down the Twizzlers and the sodas, because honestly that's not a whole food anyway. You can absolutely jumpstart your weight loss within the next year. So if that's something that you want to look into, feel free to message me. We can work together to get you on that path. But when we look at only eating whole foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, and maybe a little bit of nuts and seeds, maybe no more than 1 ounce per day, and avoiding processed sugar and added oil and added salt, this can hold our cravings back from wanting to eat these processed foods, these fast foods that keep us from reaching our goals. It's called the pleasure trap, and it can help us get to those weight loss goals that we're looking up or that we're looking out for, right? Okay, another thing that can happen to you when you switch to whole food plant-based is within 2 to 3 weeks, if you've been having any chest pains, maybe like you're an older person that has let these decades of eating unoptimally finally catch up to you and you're not feeling well, just after 2 to 3 weeks of eating this way, it is proven that you can dramatically reverse the symptoms of heart disease or pre-heart disease, if you will, again, within just 3 weeks of eating whole food plant-based. So there's been rapid and profound changes found in the human body when we take that 180 approach and really get going on the plants instead of the saturated fat, the high cholesterol, the lots of animal products, the high saturated fat cheese, the high sodium cheese. It can really help our body and help prolong our life. Another thing that happens within 2 to 3 weeks is that our taste buds are going to change. So right now, if you're eating the standard American diet, which is full of processed foods, which is again full of highly processed flours and sugar and salt, you are getting a dopamine hit every single time you're eating these foods, these crackers, these breads, these rolls, these cheeses, these charcuterie boards that are saturated with tons and tons of salt in these processed meats. You're getting this huge dopamine hit that just becomes a very vicious cycle that can lead you to unhealthful food addiction. I've been there before. I've lived through it, so I know exactly what it feels like. And what happens when you start to eat these more water-dense foods is that your taste buds are going to be like, what in the world am I eating? I need a lot more salt on that. I need a lot more sugar. This does not taste good. But give yourself 2 to 3 weeks. It takes about 21 days for your taste buds to actually overturn. So give yourself that 3 weeks and really start to get the flavor of a whole food plant-based way of eating. For instance, broccoli tastes incredibly sweet to me today. I already ate a whole head of broccoli right before this call actually, and it tastes sweet to me because my taste buds have changed over time because I've broken that release of saturated fat, lots of sugar, lots of salt that used to satiate my taste buds. Okay, another thing that can happen within about 3 weeks of adopting a whole food plant-based diet is that you can have more energy. You may not any longer have to rely on multiple cups of coffee every single day or caffeinated beverages to get you through the day, just because the nutrient density of the foods that you're eating is really high. Again, we're getting good minerals, we're getting good vitamins, we're getting the fiber that we need to keep our body moving without giving us brain fog. So you can potentially have more energy just by eating this way. If we're eating a lot of fat in animal products, that can actually make us feel a lot more sluggish than if we're eating whole carbohydrate foods that give us energy, and keep our blood sugars steady for a long period of time. Another thing that can happen when you eat a whole food plant-based is that within a month, your unhealthy TMAO levels may go down. They will fall, actually. So red meat and egg yolks can lead to a spike in an unhealthy molecule in your gut that is created when you eat meat. Now, you may read studies saying that red meat and egg yolks are fine for you, but this is at a surface level. This is before it hits your salivary amylase. This is before it goes down your esophagus. This is before it goes into your system, your stomach, into your small intestine, and into your large intestine, where it is then transferred into this molecule called trimethylamine oxide, or TMAO, which can lead to heart disease. It can potentially lead to other issues like clogged arteries and organ scarring and blood clotting. And I think it's even linked with cancer as well. So you want to reduce that as much as you possibly can. It's an oxidative molecule. And as you know, we're wanting all the antioxidants within our body, right? That's why we eat all these fruits and vegetables, to prevent these diseases from occurring. Another thing that happens is within 1 month, your complexion can improve, you guys. There's a link. First off, if you have acne, you might want to look at your vitamin D levels, and just as a safety measure, start taking about 400 milligrams or micrograms per day of vitamin D. That can help clear your complexion out. Also, reducing saturated fat has been linked to reducing acne. Dairy is absolutely linked to getting acne. So if you're eating a lot of dairy and processed sugar, that can increase your inflammation and give you acne. And so the whole foods, the whole fiber foods are going to help pull our hormones back to normal and reduce our acne. Okay. All right, let's go to the last thing. Your sex life might improve when you go plant-based. And this is over a 6 month or a 6 week period of time. Again, referring back to the Game Changers documentary, it showed what happens to 3 college athletes when they eat a plant-based burrito versus a meat burrito. And they were measured for their sexual function as they slept. And the next day they were shocked to see the results of the study, which definitely showed a difference in the size, the duration, and the frequency of their erections during sleep. So if you have a partner or if you have a friend that may want to know about that, this is not only going to help men, but this is going to help women. This is going to help blood flow to their bodily organs and can improve your sex life when you eat plants. So I hope that all of this was informative for you and that you consider eating more whole food plants on a daily basis, because it can prolong your life. It can help you feel better. It can give you more energy. It'll help you go to the bathroom more often, and it can make you look prettier. So be well, take care. I love you all, and I'll see you later.
I'm over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of The Urban Pharmacy. For today's show notes, head on over to theurbanpharmacy.com and be sure to join us inside our private Facebook group called The Urban Pharmacy, where we share inspiration, live trainings, and holistic living tips to help you build community and the healthy lifestyle that you've always wanted. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button and please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Before we connect again on the next show, follow me on Instagram at The Urban Pharmacy. That's urban with an H and pharmacy with an F. And I can't wait to hear your wellness journey as we get to know each other better. You know, there's truly no better time than now to level up your life, and I am so proud of you for showing up today. Until next time, be well, Health Crusader.